Now this is lesson 7 and the title of the lesson is rate law. If you want, you can pause the video and go through the objectives of this lesson. These are all the objectives that you will be learning in this lesson. Okay, now what is a rate law? As you know that I can control the reaction. I can make the reaction faster. I can make the reaction faster or I can make the reaction slower. So I can control the speed of the reaction. Now, one of the ways to increase the reaction rate, is by increasing the concentration of reactants. Okay, by making them more reactive, I can increase the reaction rate and make the reaction faster. Now, very important thing I want you to learn in this lesson, because you will see it a lot in this lesson, are these brackets. So whenever you see these two brackets, this means concentration. Concentration means moles per liter or capital M. So these two brackets means the concentration. So I can increase the reaction rate, number one, by increasing the concentration of reactants. For example, if you have a reaction A plus B gives me C plus D, I can increase the concentration of A and B to make the reaction faster. The second thing I can use is by increasing the temperature. Like if you are cooking in the kitchen and you want the food to cook faster, you increase the temperature. Now I will give you a rate law that includes both of these two. So the rate law will be K ضرب concentration of reactants. Notice that when the concentration of reactants increase, the rate will increase. When K increases, the rate will increase. But what is K? K is called the rate law constant. So K is the rate law constant. And it is dependent on temperature. كل ما زودنا التمبريتشر بتزيد الكي. كل ما نقصنا التمبريتشر بننقص الكي. Note that this rate law does not include the time like what we spoke about in chapter 6. In chapter 6 we spoke about the reaction rate with the time. This one have no time. This one have K and reactants. K is dependent on temperature, which is the rate law constant, and the reactants are the things that we start in a reaction. طيب, now take a moment to read this objective. Now the rate constant changes with temperature. If the temperature increases, K increases. If the temperature decreases, K will decrease. Okay, now the specific rate constant, if K is large, this means that the reaction is fast or forms quickly. If K is small, this means that the reaction is slow, because the rate is proportional to K. If K increases, the rate will be faster. K decreases, the rate will be slower. Now let's do this question. This question says this is the rate law of the reaction given as rate equal K ضرب X ضرب Y power 3. Now let me insert a page and tell you something. If I have a reaction A plus B gives you C plus D. Now the rate law will include A and B or C and D. طبعا it will include the reactants only. So I will say rate law equal K times A times B. Now here there should be powers. Later on I will teach you how can you find these powers. Maybe this is 2 and this is nothing, which means 1. Okay, now this power in math it's called power. In chemistry I call it order. So whenever I say order of A, it's equal to 2. This one is called the order of B. So whenever I say order of B means power of B, this is 1. Whenever I say what is the overall order, means you add these two together. So the overall order will be 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. Now, what happens when I increase the concentration of A? When I increase A, the rate should be faster. So what happens when I increase B? When I increase B also, the rate will be faster. Now, how many times faster will the rate become? For example, if I double A, if I double the concentration of A, what happens to the rate? طبعا the rate will be faster, but the rate will not double like A. What will you do in this question? Double means 2. رح أجي بالrule and put instead of A 2. 2, and here there is a power of 2. 2 power 2 equals 4. So I will say the reaction will be 4 times faster. Another question. What will happen if we double B? If we double B, I will come here instead of B and I will put double, which means 2. 2 power 1 equal 2 times faster. So the rate will be 2 times faster. So what happens if I triple A? Triple means 3. Instead of A, you put 3 square. So the reaction will be 9 times faster. Now what happens if I double A and triple B? Okay, double A, I will put instead of A 2. 2 square. 2 square times, be careful, this is times, not plus, okay? Triple B, I will put instead of B 3. 3 power 1. 2 square is 4 times 3 power 1 is 3. This is equal to 12 times faster. So as we said, if we increase the concentration of A, the reaction will be faster. If we increase the concentration of B, the reaction will be faster. How many times faster? You should see according to the rate law. So remember, the order of A is the power of A, the order of B is the power of B, and the overall order is you add the powers together. Now, if you double a number, you put instead of it 2, you triple, you put instead of it 3. Now, let's see another question. Okay, you have this question. You have the rate law for the reaction x plus 2y gives you z, and this is the rate. Now, first of all, what is K? K is called the rate law constant, and it depends on temperature. Now, what is the order of x? Order of x means power of x. No power is written. This means it is 1. Now, what is the order of y? 2. What is the overall order? 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. Now, what happens if I double x? When I double x means you put 2. 2 power 1 is 2 times faster. What happens when I double y? 2 square, 2 power 2 is 4 times faster. Okay, so now let's answer the question. The first question says, if the concentration of y is doubled, يعني you put instead of y 2, 2 power 2 equals 4. The rate will increase by a factor of 4. Now, the overall order of this reaction, how do you find the overall order of this reaction? We add the powers, 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. Now, in an experiment, the concentration of X was 0.2. Now, as we said previously, concentration of X, I simply can write it as bracket X. And that of Y is 0.10 molar. So the concentration of Y is equal to 0.1 molar. If the reaction rate is 2 times 10 to the minus 3, so the rate is 2 times 10 minus 3. طبعا the rate, not meter per second, this is molarity per second. In physics, it's meter per second because it's a speed. In chemistry, I call molarity per second. The value of K is, how do I find the K? طبعا ما بنألف rule, the rule is here. Rate equal KXY square. X power 1 times y squared. Put instead of the rate this number, instead of x 0.2, instead of y 0.1, and find k. I think k will be 0.2 times 10 to the minus 3 equal, okay, let me see. 2 times 10 to the minus 3 equal k times x 0.2 times y 0.1 square. This is 10 to the minus 2, 10 to the minus 1. I think it will be 1. Okay, now I will speak to you about the units of K. Just let's solve few questions till you understand, and then we will speak about the unit of K, which unit of K will be correct. Okay, now this reaction Q plus 2L is first order in Q and second order in L. Now I want you to write for me the rate law. طبعا الرate law it will be rate law equal constant times the first reactant Q. طبعا there is a power which I don't know. بعدين the second reactant which is L. Also power that I don't know. Now how can I know these powers? In chemistry we said we call them orders. It says first order in Q, يعني power of Q is 1. Second order in L, so power of L is 2. Remember, order means power. Okay, now if the concentrations of Q and L are doubled means I will put instead of Q 2 power 1 times also instead of L 2. 2 power 1 is 2 times 2 square 4, so it will be 8 times faster. Now the overall order of the reaction is 1 plus 2, 3. Okay, I want you now to pause the video and try to go through these questions. Okay, now the rate equal K times Q power 3. Can you tell me why there is no X in the rate? X is a reactant. There should be X. What is the power of X? طبعا it should be 0. If X does not appear, this means its order is 0. Anything power 0 is 1. So the rate will be equal to KQ power 3 times 1, which is KQ power 3. The order of the reaction with respect to X is, the overall order is 3 plus 0, this is 3. If the concentration of X is doubled, حطينا بدل X 2. 2 طبعا its order is 0, so the rate will not be affected. طيب, which of the following is true about the specific rate constant? The rate constant يعني K. It's always constant طبعا لا, it changes if the temperature changes. It changes with temperature, yes. As its value increases, the rate will be faster. صح, لأنه الرate equal K ضرب concentration of reactants. So if this one increases, the rate will increase. We say the rate and K are directly proportional. So which is true 2 and 3. Okay, now I want you to tell me what is the value of M. You have the reaction, 2Q gives you Z. The rate law is rate equal KQ power M, and now you have to tell me how much is M. Let me see how good you are in math. Now, when the concentration of Q is doubled, شو يعني doubled? يعني 2. So I will put instead of Q, 2. So you will get 2 power M. The rate, this one, is doubled. So it's equal to 2. Doubled means 2. Again, when the concentration of Q is doubled, so I put instead of Q2, 2 power M. The rate is doubled, so I'll put here 2. What is power M? 2 power what gives you 2? 2 power 1. Okay. Now another question. You have the rate equal KXY square Z. طبعا X, Y, Z are reactants, so they appear in the rate law. What is the order of X1? Order of Y2, order of Z is 1. Overall order 1 plus 2 plus 1, this is 4. Okay, be careful. We have to choose the statements that are not true. The reaction is second order in X and Z. طبعا this is wrong because it's first order. The reaction is first order in X and Z, صح. The reaction is second order in Y, صح. The reaction is fourth order overall, طبعا صح, because 1 plus 2 plus 1 equal 4. Now which one is wrong? One only. Okay, the rate law relates, what does it relate? The reaction rate and the concentration of reactants, because the rate law equal K ضرب concentration of reactants. So it's a relation between rate and concentration of reactants. Now consider the reaction S plus T gives you M. if the rate of the reaction is first order in S and second order in T. Can you write for me the rate law? Please pause the video and try to write the rate law. Okay, first order in S means S power 1. Second order in T means T power 2. So the answer is C. Okay, you have the rate law. Rate equal xy squared. طبعا according to this, what's the order of x1? Order of y2. Overall order is 3. The overall order of the reaction is 3. This is true. The rate would double if x is doubled. يعني بنحط بدل x2 2 power 1 equal 2. So this is correct. The rate will double if y is doubled. If y is doubled, I will put instead of y2, 2 square equal 4. So the rate will be 4 times faster, مش double. إذن هاي غلط. We have to choose the wrong statement, so the answer is 3 only. Please pause the video and do the questions again by yourselves. Okay, now given that the reaction x plus y equals z is second order in x and first order in y, can we write the rate law? Okay, the overall order of the reaction is 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. Okay, now I want you to pause the video and to do this question. Okay, now predict the change in the reaction rate when each of the following changes is done. Concentration of V is halved. Very simple. I go to V and I put 1 over 2 and its power 1. So I will say 1 over 2 times. This one is slower. Be careful because I am decreasing the temperature. Time. When W is tripled means 3. So I will go in the rule and I will put instead of W 3 power 2. It will be 9 times faster. Time. When V is tripled means 3. So I will put instead of V 3 power 1 equal 3 times faster. I believe this is more like math. If you are good in math, you will be able to do these questions. Type. Okay. Now the units of K or the specific rate constant. Now the units of K, simply you can memorize them. If you don't want to memorize them, you can do this thing. Okay, now the rate is equal to K times reactance power A, where A could be 0, A could be 1, A could be 2, A could be 3. When A is 0, I say the order of the reaction is 0. When A is 1, first order, A is 2, second order, A is 3, third order. Now, I want you to put instead of A, 0 in this rule. So what does it become? Rate equal K times R power 0. Anything power 0 is 1, so K. Rate equal K. Horn rate is equal to K times reactance power 1. Horn rate is equal to K times reactance power 2. Horn rate is equal to K times reactance power 3. Now I want you to find K in each case. K equal. Okay, here K equal rate. Here K equal rate over reactance power 1. Here K equal rate over reactance power 2. Here rate K equal rate over reactance power 3. Okay, طيب هلا in each case I will write the unit. The unit of the rate, speed, molarity per second. So if the order is 0, the rate is molarity per second. Sometimes they bring this as up, so it will be m ضرب s power minus 1. Now here the rate is m over s and the concentration is m. M will cancel, so what will we have? 1 over s or s power minus 1. Okay, so in the first order, the unit of k is s minus 1. Now in the second order, okay, rate is m over s, 1 concentration square is molarity square. 1 m with 1 m will be cancelled, so I will have 1 over sm. I bring them up, it will be s minus 1, m minus 1. Okay, and here, same, rate is m over s, concentration cube is molarity cube, one of these will be cancelled, so we will have 1 over sm square, s minus 1, m minus 2. What is common for all these? S minus 1. لاحظوا إن all of them have s minus 1. What is different? The m. بالزيرو order عندي m. بالفirst order ولا m. بالsecond order m minus 1. بالthird order m minus 2. If you remember, we left one question here because we did not know the unit of m. Let's go back to the question. Okay, now the answer was 1, and I don't know whether it's m minus 2, s minus 1, or m minus 3, s minus 1. Now the overall order is the 3. So the rate k is equal to rate over x power 1 times y power 2. Okay, the rate is m over s, x is m, y is m square. M مع m be cancelled, then I will have 1 over sm square. So this one is the correct answer. When you bring them up, it will be s minus 1, m minus 2. You don't have to memorize the units. If you are good in doing this step, then it will be easy for you. So this is the way we determine the units of K. Okay, now in the first order reaction K equal X, the order of X is 1. Okay, if we have the rule saying K equal constant ضرب X, and we draw a relation between the rate and X, it will be a linear relation and the slope is equal to K. I think this is more like math. This is a straight line passing through the origin. Now, if you have this reaction, the rate law is K times Q. I can see Q. What is the order of Q? The order of Q is 1. So the overall order is 1. Now I have this for this rate, the reaction. The rate is equal to Kxy squared. What is the order of X1? What is the order of Y2? What is the overall order? 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. Type. Now we have the rate law, rate equal K. I cannot see W and I cannot see X. This means that W is power 0 and X is also power 0. The overall order of the reaction is 0 plus 0. This is 0. Now here the rate is equal to K times T squared. So the overall order of the reaction is 2. Now, before we do this question, there is one question in your practice sheet that I would like to solve with you. Let me just go to add this question. I think you should do your practice sheet, lesson 2 questions, because they are very important and they are from past papers. Okay, so let's do some questions from here. Let's see, what are my questions? Okay, topic 2, practice questions. طبعا all these questions you can solve and then you can check your answers. Okay, now this is an important question. Let me just copy it and bring it to the presentation and we will solve it together. Okay. The question says a student investigated the rate law for the reaction x plus 2y gives you 3z. As you know very well, the rate law will be dependent on x and y, so I can say the rate law is equal to k times x power something which I don't know. I will say it is a times y power b, and I don't know how much is b. A is the order of x. I should know how much is it. B is the order of y, and also I should know how much is it. So I need to know how much is A, how much is B. Now, the question says the overall order of the reaction is 2. What does it mean? It means when I add A plus B, what do I get? 2. Now let's discuss the options. If A plus B equal 2, this means either A is 1, B is 1, or A is 0, B is 2, or A is 2 and B is 0. So these are the options. Notice that the orders cannot be decimals. Okay, I cannot say 1.5, 0.5. This is not correct. Okay, now let's see point number 2. Doubling the concentration of X. So if I doubled X, it does not affect the rate of the reaction. Directly, I can tell if I double X and the reaction is not affected, so the order of X is 0. So A is equal to 0. If A is equal to 0, then B is equal to 2. So A is equal to 0, B is equal to 2. Now, what is the rate law? The rate law will be K times X power A, which is 0, times Y times B power 2. So this is the rate law. I think this is very easy. Now calculate the rate law constant. When I say rate law constant, this means I need to find K. Where is the formula? This is the formula. In order to calculate K, I need to know the rate law, and I need to know X, and I need to know Y. It's here written. When the concentration of X and Y are 0.5, so X is 0.5 and Y is 0.5, the rate of the reaction is 2.5. So the rate is 2.5. So I will say 2.5 equal K times 0.5 power 0 times 0.5 square. Okay, and then you will calculate K. Now calculate the rate of the reaction when X is 0.10 and the concentration of Y is 0.15. I think here K is 10. Now calculate the rate. So we want the rate. Also, we will not invent rules. مش هنألف. The rate is given here. The rate is equal to K times X power 0 times Y square. K is 10. X is 0.10 power 0. Y is 0.15 square. And then we can find the final answer. Okay? Type next. Okay, now this is another way to find the rate law. Let me tell you about, in some questions, the rate will be given, like they will say for you, the rate is equal to K times A square times B power 3. Now, in this case, this is a very easy question. The question that you might be asked, what is the order of A? 2. What is the order of B? 3. What is the overall order? 2 plus 3, 5. What happens if A is doubled? Then you put 2 square 4 times faster. What happens if B is doubled? 2 power 3, 8 times faster. Okay? In the second type of question, they will say for you the order of A is first, and the order of B is second, and then you have to write the rate law. In this case, you will say the rate is equal to K times A power 1 times B power 2. Now again, the same question. What is the order of A1? What is the order of B2? What is the overall order? 3. Now what happens if A is doubled? 2 power 1 is 2. What happens if B is doubled? 2 square 4 times faster. Okay, so this is one type of question. The rate law will be given. Second type of question, the orders will be given. Now third type of question, they will say for you, if A was doubled, concentration of A was doubled, the rate is doubled. And if B was doubled, مثلا, the rate is not affected. هذا شوي أصعب. Now you will have to write the rate law. Okay, you will say the rate law equal K, طبعا A power إشي I don't know times B برضو power إشي I don't know. Now the question says if A was doubled, what happens to the rate? Doubled means 2 and the rate is doubled. Okay. Okay, if A was doubled means 2, the rate is doubled. 2 power what gives you 2? So this power is 1. If B was doubled, the rate is not affected, so the power of B is 0. Not affected means it will be the same. So these are 3 different types of questions that you might get in the exam. Now the last way to write the rate law is the coming one. Okay, in this question you will be given experiments, and in the experiments you should conclude the rate law. Okay, so here you have 3 experiments, experiment 1 and experiment 2 and experiment 3, and in the experiments you have concentrations and you have the rates. Now according to this, the rate law is equal to K times Z power something, I will say A, which I don't know, times Q power B, which also I don't know. So Z is A and Q is B. Now I need to know A and B from experiment 1 and experiment 2 and experiment 3. Here the order of Z, which is A, equals how much? Be careful. Now when I'm calculating A, I should use an experiment where B is the same. 2 experiments where B is the same. In which experiments are B the same? B is the same in experiment 1 and 3. شوفوا same. 0.05, 0.05. Now I will see what happens to A in the same experiments and what happens to the rate. Now B is the same. Now what happens to A? 0.01 تحولت ل 0.02. This means it's multiplied by 2. So A is multiplied by 2. Now what happens to the rate? 1 times 10 to the minus 3 تحولت ل 2 times 10 to the minus 3, so this is times 2. So the rate is times 2. 2 power A gives you 2. So how much is A? 1. Okay, so if this is double, يبقى أكيد الpower 1. Now the same thing I will do when I'm calculating the order of Q, which is B. B equals question mark. I need to choose experiments where A is the same. In which here we chose experiments 1 and 3. Now let's choose experiments. بدي أشوف experiments اللي فيهم A is the same. هاي A is the same in this one and this one. So I will choose this experiment and this experiment. And I will see what happened here and what happened here. Okay, see, so here this is the same. Here 0.05 تحولت ل 0.10, so this is multiplied by 2. هون تحولت 1 to 8, this is times 8. So 1 or 2. So B is multiplied by 2 and the rate is multiplied by 8. 2 power what gives you 8? 2 power what gives you 8? So B is equal to 3. No, 2 power 3 is equal to 8. Okay, now the overall order of the reaction is 1 plus 3, this is 4. And if they say for you write the rate law, it will be rate law equal K times Z power A, which is 1, times Q power B, which is 3. Okay, so this is a question. I think you can now pause the video and answer this question by yourselves. Okay, now this is the last question. Okay, I want you to solve this question. What is the order of the question? No, not this one. Let's do. Okay, now this is the end of your video. I hope you understood and it was beneficial for you.